Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Alex Cook. So, in my last video, I talked about I'm starting to see a retail craze in stocks. So, disclaimer as always, this video is not intended to be investment advice. I may mention some companies, I may mention some cryptocurrencies in this video. It's just intended to be informational. And the reason is I can't tell who's watching it, so I can't tell what might be appropriate for your risk tolerance or not. You got to figure that out for yourself. So, look, GameStop, funny story. Okay, I mean, look, seriously, congrats. Like, congrats to you guys. Like, what you did was pretty epic. So, funny story, made a lot of pretty epic memes. But look, whenever we have this much chatter about the stock market from non-market sources, so meaning not just the Wall Street Journal, CNBC, or whatever, but front page news discussing it, that makes me nervous. So, like, when people are buying downtown billboards or highway billboards talking about their stocks, like, not even just office conversation, but like, let's buy a downtown billboard talking about our stocks. Like, I mean, it's funny, but I also get nervous because I've seen retail crazes before, and I know this usually doesn't end well. So I was talking about that in that video, and I'll include a link below to it. I was talking about it relating to the stock market, but I think crypto could be next. Now, to be clear, I am still a long-term fan of crypto. When I say long-term, I'm talking 10 plus years. I do think the future of the internet is going to be more decentralized, and I also think crypto is going to start becoming an institutional asset class of its own. It's not tech, like it's not a tech stock. It's not precious metals. It's definitely not cash. I think it's its own thing entirely. And I think institutional asset allocators are going to start to consider this, which would be bullish for them. Now, what about the volatility? So the futures markets that are going to pop up, these will allow for hedging to maybe smooth out some of the volatility. And we're seeing that now with the launch of Ethereum futures coming up shortly on the CME. So now that all being said, and by the way, I still stand behind my earlier comments on my Q1 2021 preview video where I was saying, hey, we've printed an absurd amount of money. I still stand behind that. Okay. That said, and while I am still a long-term fan, and by the way, I used to be a huge skeptic. I'll include a link below talking about how I used to be a skeptic on crypto and changed my mind. That being said, I think we might overheat this year. Okay, that does not make me a hater saying this. All right, my job is not to pump the market, and I wouldn't even do that anyway because that's illegal. But my job is to call it like I see it. I could see crypto getting to a point where it's overinvested on margin. Or, people doing ridiculous things like taking out loans, like second mortgages to buy crypto. I mean, it sounds crazy, but I've seen this happen in 2017. So it would not shock me. I mean, it would shock me in the sense that it's dumb, but I think I've seen plenty of dumb things that, it is what it is. It's not the first time I've seen it. So I do think if Bitcoin breaches a big psychological barrier this year, and the barrier that I'm talking about is 100,000. If that happens, we're going to see probably a bunch of first-time buyers at that point, and they're going to, because they're going to see all the hype. They're going to see all the headlines. It'll be on the front page of every newspaper, like Bitcoin 100K. It's going to be super hyped up. You'll see it all over the social media, and they're going to be setting themselves to get burnt once we have a correction by getting in at a peak. So where I think we could go from here. So going with this base case scenario, if crypto peaks out and then comes back down this year, I think this could be a start of a broader market decline. So what I mean by that is, just look at PE multiples on stocks, or also known as stonks. They're at crazy highs, and a lot of that is really just a function of we've made bonds uninvestable, so people are just rolling the dice on stocks. It's purely a function of how much money we printed going into the Fed and every central bank in the world purchasing bonds. I wouldn't be shocked if we see a correction maybe happening, and I wouldn't be shocked if this happens within the next 12 months. Right now, I think we are still on the left-hand side of the curve, but I think we may get a point where it peaks out. Now, I want to deep dive into stocks for a second, and I want to talk about technology because that's really been one of the leaders really over the last decade. So you've heard of they call them the FANG stocks. That's Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, the FANG stocks. Like these tech companies, I mean, they've been killing it. I do think, though, that the decentralization of the internet that you may have heard about this. I know there's been a lot of talk, a lot of controversy about these companies sometimes. I think this trend might negatively affect some of these companies. And look, these companies were some of the market leaders that really drove a lot of the gains in at least the S&P tech sector, if not overall the broad market. Look, the disruption of social media, it's happening now. I originally predicted that this would happen sort of phased in over this decade or over multiple years, but like, it's happening now. Like, for example, like I didn't even know what Clubhouse was until a couple months ago, and now like Telegram is really blowing up. Like everyone is on, like all like the influential people on Twitter, like they're moving over to Telegram. Like this is just continuing to blow up. Apple, look, I'm not trying to be a hater on Apple. It just they haven't really come out with game changers lately. Like Apple used to come out with game changers, not just cool products, but game changers. Like the original iPod, that was a game changer. Like MP3 players were around before then, but they kind of sucked, and the iPod was a game changer. Same with the iPhone. It made smartphones from being something that, just like business guys might have a BlackBerry. And now, everyone has a smartphone, and you could really credit the iPhone for that. They haven't really come out with a new game changer lately. Now, granted, they have a ton of cash that they could throw at the problem. I'm just curious whether or not they will, but who knows? We'll see. And look, Google, I mean, they got all kinds of controversies. I could do a whole another video on that entirely. The point is, while I like tech as a concept, especially fintech and especially blockchain tech, I don't know if necessarily some of the leaders from the 2010s are what is going to lead us into the 2020s. Look, not denying these companies straight killed it last decade. Not denying these companies have a lot of cash that they could burn through, and they have access to credit lines if they wanted to. Like they could raise capital if they wanted to. I just don't know if the current trends of decentralization favor them or not. And again, at what point do these multiples make sense? At what point of these growth factors of 10 bazillion, we're going to assume freaking 10 million times X growth. At what point do these revenue projections really make sense or not? All right, I'm just saying. So because of all this, I would not be shocked if we see a correction. Now, let's talk about something though. Like, did internet technology change the world? Yes. Now, was it also overinvested in 1999? Also, yes. Like these two statements, they can both be true. So, like that's where I'm coming from as far as stocks and as far as crypto. So the issue I have, to be clear, like it's with evaluation where that trend may be going, and also just when I see this much retail hype, that tends to get me nervous. Like my issue is not with crypto as a concept. Yes, the internet changed the world. It was also overinvested in 1999. Both statements can be true. Now, you guys are welcome to disagree. If you do have a strong bull case, and look, short term, I probably am more bullish than bearish. I'm just talking about, where might we end up this year? I'm open to hearing it. And again, I'm not hating on crypto at all. I do like the idea long term, but it is a very volatile asset class. And I think at the moment, I'd say we're probably still on the left-hand side of the curve, on the upward side of the curve. But I'd just say be cautious when the hype gets, too crazy. I've just seen this stuff before. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit subscribe. Definitely be sure to follow me on Telegram. Yes, Telegram. So we are having actually a lot of really cool discussions on this group. So I'm going to include a link below. Definitely check it out. I am also on Rumble, looking at maybe getting on Rockfin. Going to research that one a little bit more. Any platforms you guys think I should put content on, definitely let me know. We got a Substack. People are really enjoying the Substack, so be sure to sign up if you want my email newsletter. I have the link below. But thanks for watching. I'm out.